Hello, everybody. This is Frogman, and welcome back to Serious Engineering. I think we've been kind of busy over the last, I don't know, week or so since I last did a little bit of recording, and I know we were kind of goofing around doing various things as far as Thaumcraft is concerned. So let's go ahead and catch up that really quickly. The discussion was working through these shimmer petals, trying to get shimmer petal bulbs up and running. This was a very simple thing, so I just went ahead and did that in between episodes. Hopefully he's still alive over here now that it is winter time, but I did go ahead and plant said shimmer petal bulb, and now we get shimmer petals that when you craft them, you get quicksilver drops. So that's kind of was one of those things. We're going to probably put that guy in a garden cloche because I still kind of want a whole bunch of this stuff for various reasons. So I wish that I while the guy was rebuilding or upgrading the cooking center or the cook or the restaurant or whatever it was, I had to pull the external preheaters off of, or the external heaters off of the furnace that was over there, and she kept cooking and making a mess. So whatever, that's no problem, neither here nor there kind of thing. Anyhow, I just wanted to say we got that little problem sorted out so we can at least farm the shimmer leaves so we can get all of the Quicksilver that we need to do various things. And Quicksilver for Thaumcraft is going to be usable for quite a few things. Mainly the biggest process is going to be crafting of mirrored glass, which we're going to get into, and also into being able to make better focuses, to include the blank advanced focus, which will allow us to be a little bit more complex with our spells. So there are a couple of spells that I want to make with my gauntlet that I currently have right now, where I've only got two. There's a couple that I do want to kind of play with. I want to build a little bit better mining one, and a couple other things like that. So we'll get to that eventually, kind of a thing. I don't need them right now. So I did do a little moving around of things over here. I did move, like I was saying, I was going to move the jars over here, and some of the. This is just going to be for base usage as far as alchemical decomposition and construction, and also infusion. This stuff's going to be here for me to use when we need to do things. So we're going to be building a secondary one of these Essentia Smelteries, along with pretty much an exact same copy of this system right here. And one of those, maybe two, depending on how much we think we need to be able to do as far as ore processing is concerned, and then probably another one of these so we can keep up. And we're only going to really worried about the Ordo and the Terra and the Metallum, wherever it went. Oh, it's right there. Okay. So, yeah, that's what we're going to be playing with. We're going to be doing that hopefully very shortly because of the fact that today, we're going to finally go light the project that has been going on downstairs for a little while. So, what I do need to do is I need a few of those, the spawner aggregators. These things are going to make this work. And this is also going to be how we're going to pretty much get iron from here on out. We're not going to be bothered with trying to go looking for mines for iron, because of the basic fact is as long as you find a mob spawner that has iron capabilities, you end up with iron capabilities. You end up with a lot of iron. This is just this is testing. This is just testing. And of course, the aluminum, I was making some aluminum because I'm going to need to be able to make some redstone wiring capabilities here fairly shortly. So let's go downstairs and I will show you some other things that have been going on. Okay, we've already seen this area. We've already kind of played with it, and since then I have gone ahead and finished clearing out the majority of the rest of the dungeon down here. It really wasn't all that hard to do. We've got a nice pretty little interface now. We've got a nice little room that this little mob spawner system is setting in, and I did kind of do a little somewhat fun, dangerous way to enjoy the spawners, which is the light level coming from these glowstone here, if I can get my level meters up, is far, and let me guess, I got another one of those guys down there. Great, whatever. We're going to have to worry about that eventually because they just all decided to spawn down here, but that's no problem. the light level of the glowstone here reaches to about right there, or that block actually. So everything inside here is dark enough to keep those guys running no matter what. And as you can see, I have traded out the water-based floors for the, let me see what these things are actually called, entity conveyors. Entity conveyors, just some slime balls, some iron. I'm getting slime balls by the just gob pile from the little fish's little gutsy thingies, the little things that the mobs drop. That's one of the more heavy drops that they come out of there. So I've got tons of slime balls and tons of things. So I went ahead and filled this in, which I'm seeing now is probably a bad idea, but we've got that whole line down through here and a section down in here where I guess I'm going to have to kill that guy eventually. That's an undertaker. They're not the smartest thing in the world. So actually, where is our thing here? Come here. Thank you. Had to make a new bow because I broke my old one. Wow, hang on, phone. Go away. Thank you. And I got to kill those guys, too. Hopefully. Anyhow, that should take care of that problem for right now. The Undertakers are a royal pain in the butt. We'll have to deal with them eventually. Anyway, so that's kind of what we've got going on in here for right now. And I went ahead, like I said, and built a nice little pathway down here, down into the lower levels of the dungeon. There is a hallway back here that goes out into the rest of this area. This dungeon was kind of as far as things go. It really, really was just full of junk spawners. I mean, I may go ahead and eventually hook some of these spawners up, but a lot of these guys are diamond mobs, and I really don't need the diamonds because I can't really do much with the diamonds. So I cleared this little section up. Yeah, we're going to have to do something about that. Anyhow, there's a blaze spawner in here that I'm going to use to collect blazes. And apparently there's also a bunch of undead and a bunch of other things in here. So I may have to change some of these things out. I was not expecting to come into a pile of that. But anyhow, let's come up here and do the thing that I wanted to do, which is make this thing run all the time. Am I going to fall off? No. Reach it. There we go. Okay. Now those guys are going to do exactly what they said. They're going to make sure that these things run all the time, no matter whether I'm here or not. So that also means that we probably have an issue down here, but we'll see what happens when we get over to the killing section where we need to take a look at some more stuff. So the killing section, as we know, or as we showed last episode, and I need to turn my magnet off, is that we are bringing the mobs up into this little chamber here where there is a mob grinder with a bunch of looting upgrades and a bunch of sharpness upgrades in it, and it is going to do the killing for us. And if we come down here, we're going to see that I have been working on the mob sorting parts. So I'm going to have to kill that guy because these guys especially don't fit in the system. Thank you. Now we can think. Yeah, the undeads don't fit into the system. They're like a block and a half wide. They're like they overlap the blocks, so they don't technically fit in the system. So I'm probably going to have to do a little bit of adjustment to the mob killing processes. But anyhow, what I did in here is that we've already got a little bit of a system set up here. So basically, I'm going to void the liquid XP for right now. And we're bringing everything into a chest that is initially just going to be there so I can see things happen. So we've got an extracting conveyor belt right here that I have shut off with a bit of redstone that goes onto a conveyor belt down to the side over here. And we're sorting out what we want over in this area. So if I can get over here without getting stuck on the belt. Yep, I'm on the belt. Thank you. The first sorter, basically these item routers, they're all just sorters. We're taking all of the iron pieces and we're pushing it out the green side, which goes up this conveyor belt and into this infernal furnace. In the second sorter, I should say, blah, blah, whatever. Can you tell I'm kind of flustered? The next basic default route is going to be out this direction because I have blocked the east side off. So I think we're at what? This is the west, so I think we're like south. Is that south? Yes, it's south. The next available default route is on the south side. So that means into this item router. And this item router is going to be checking for all of the chain, leggings, and whatnot. Again, I have a default route here locked out so nothing can go back into that one. It's kind of an important thing that you need to do with item routers in particular, is because if a thing can be put out on a belt going that direction, or meaning on the side that it's being fed by, it will put it out there and then cycle it back and forth until it finally goes out the correct direction. So you want to make sure you put something on the entrance interface that is never, ever, ever going to go that direction. So like in this case, we have mossy stone bricks, and that keeps items from flowing backwards into the system and causing a kind of a lag loop, basically. So again, in here, same thing on the north side, which is this side. I don't want it to go back into that router. So we're sorting the chain leggings out, and again, I have these guys all set to a fuzzy so that it just doesn't care. As long as it looks like this, it's going to pick it up. So if it's broken, enchanted, or full durability, it will then push that out onto that belt and put it into the infernal furnace. On this interface, or this router, we're doing something similar here, which is, I don't know why that one's in there. That one needs to be over there. I'm going to have to go get one of those, another piece of block. Let's borrow that block. You go in there. Thank you. Now we can begin. All right. In this one, of course, we're just doing gold because I'm getting a small amount of gold, and I need to go ahead and make the chest plate and a possible shovel because I have seen them come out occasionally. So, again, stuff can't go back to the north. Anything that's gold goes out this side into the infernal furnace. Repeating ourselves. And then I have a gap here so I can watch what comes out of this and goes into the final sorter item router thing, which in here we're doing this again. I don't want to push anything to the north. The default route is out this way, or out the blue direction. So blue is going to be to the south, and anything that I don't want to keep is going into that lava pool for right now. And the reason why I'm doing a lava pool is because if I had my bucket on me, if I want to see that I'm, everything's functional, I can pick the lava back up and check to see what's in the pile before I burn it for now. So we'll eventually put a trash can on that once we get all of this programmed. Again, anything I want to keep is going out the green side into a brazier and into the system. So the fun part is we're probably filling this chest up. Yep, we are. We'll finish doing this really quick, and then we can turn that thing on. I'm not really worried about the stuff hanging up there. So we all know that if you smelt, say, an iron chest plate in a furnace, you're going to get some amount of the iron back. Same with gold, same with just the iron tools, the iron or the gold tools, and the chain tools. You're going to get a certain amount of the material that it took to make it back. So we're going to get iron nuggets from iron, chainmail, and of course we're going to get gold nuggets from the gold tools and gold armor. So that all goes into this infernal furnace, and he's down here because he requires no power to run. He's just going to sit here and slowly take care of things over time. And I have a little magic tool here that I think we gotta, have to have a little bit of a discussion about because this thing is really nice. What happens is the parts come out of here into this hungry chest. The hungry chest picks the stuff up from the infernal furnace and it hangs onto it. And we have an arcane pattern crafter. And an arcane pattern crafter, if I get into the artifice section, is something we unlocked quite a while ago, which basically is an auto crafting thing or a auto combining thing or, things like as such. So it's a condenser, compactor, kind of somewhat special crafter, and you can change the crafting recipe if you click the little dial on the front. It's showing you right here what it's doing on the face of it. This is the crafting grid, and it's using these little bitty deals to designate which parts of the crafting grid it's allowed to use when it's crafting something. So in order to craft an ingot, we need 9 nuggets. So what happens is when it senses it gets 9 nuggets of any particular metal, it crafts it, it puts it into that hopper because it has to have an inventory underneath of it. The hopper then uses the belt and dumps it back into the brazier. So let's go check this out before I have an entire mess up there. But basically what's going to happen is everything comes out of here, and once it gets an open spot, it's going to pull some more stuff out. I'm pretty sure this thing's probably nice and full of junk, and it is. But we're sorting out the rotten flesh. As we notice over here, the bones are going back into the system. The rotten flesh goes into the trash can, which is pretty cool. And once it gets all that figured out and sorted, I pick something up. That's the only problem with doing this. Here, I don't need those bones. Thank you. Yeah, that's where I'm getting all the slime balls from. Thank you. Let's see where we are. We got lots of bones. Let's get rid of those bones real quick. Here, I can help you guys out. No, don't do that. Over there. Thank you. Now it's going to slowly pull various things out of here. We've got a whole bunch of junk. Shouldn't have waited so long, but that's okay. It'll clear it out. The interesting thing is I've been kind of playing with this and watching the progress of the mobs. And once this settles in and gets done, it should be able to clear this chest before the next crowd of things show up. So, all right, so we should start to see some stuff go up over the top. There it goes. It went in. 31. And there he goes. He does the work. He's got these cool little gear animations on the side of it. This thing uses the V from the chunk that it's in. So I think it's on a fairly easy chunk border. It's actually right on the edge of it. To use a small amount of V basically to craft or combine or, if I really wanted to, I could probably actually stick like blocks back in this thing and it would uncraft them if I checked the center little thing. I don't want to touch it right now in case something comes in, but they're very, very simple to use. They have no interface. They have no pattern selection other than what it says right there on the face of it. So, but we're basically just going to sit there and kind of let things run. Bones here pretty soon, I think, are probably going to end up in the trash because I've already got almost a thing full of them. So it's been kind of fun as always, but basically there you go. We got a pile of stuff headed out of the system. It all goes over there, gets dropped off. I do and may end up start thinking about playing with the leather armor just for a little bit because I can craft leather armor into good armor, which will then be uncrafted into leather. But I think for right now, I'm not worried about leather because I can make it. So rotten flesh, we may save a little bit of it for a little while. But yeah, it just bloop, bloop, bloop. Everything goes out, up into the system, and it works. So we're in the cave right now. I can't really step out. And if I do end up with a whole bunch of pollution, it's just going to go up there and hang out, which I think there's some right there as it is. So I may end up having to worry about that eventually. I may not. It just depends on how long we plan on playing. This thing doesn't seem to pollute a lot, so I'm not really, really, really all that concerned about it right now. We have the pumps. We have the ability to get rid of it. So let's see. How are we doing? Looks like we have another line of them coming. How are we doing up here? You're caught up. You're getting caught up. Once it gets out of this stuff, it goes away pretty quickly. So, doop, 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 doop. Yeah, it pretty well catches up nicely. So, we're going to have to fix the problem with the spawning. But again, that stuff probably popped in because we came down here, so it'll despawn eventually, hopefully. But anyhow, that's where we are. And now we have a pretty much continuous supply, a reasonably decent supply of iron. And I'm going to have to do something about that stuff, but we may go handle that just shortly. So actually, I don't even know if I can handle it. I might not have the parts to handle it. Are we caught up? We're almost caught up. Good. So, all right, now let's get out of the hole. Thank you. I'm going to have to go fix that blaze spawner. I'm not quite so certain I want it quite yet. One thing I was kind of complaining about when I was kind of cleaning this up is we have the Enderman spawner over there that we're probably going to build a nice farm out of, and then we have a single creeper spawner down in that big room that has all the chests and all the spawners. And I was like, well, there's got to be a creeper spawner around here. I thought I had explored this level fairly well. And I happened to notice that there was a bunch of mobs that spawned right behind me while I was working over here. And let's see, where is it? I think we missed it already. Oh, yeah, it's in this area. Thought I opened this up. I did. We have a creeper spawner right behind the mob killing area. So if I think I need a lot of gunpowder, I have all of the gunpowder I'm ever going to need right there. So that's pretty cool. As far as all the crazy out in the cave spawners around in this area, I don't have a lot of really good ones. I think there's one way over there, and I think it's a zombie spawner if I remember correctly, so we don't need him. We're not going to worry about it. Anyhow, Where is the output? Over here. Let's get back out of here and fill this hole up for now, just to keep things from eating us, and we'll do that. Let's go upstairs and see how this all works. So that was kind of cool. You could see the line of them coming through. All right. How are we doing? 73. Very nice. So if I just sit here and I kind of watch this thing over a period of time, this number and this number should go up. So this is kind of when I want to talk about something that I'm not absolutely, so like I said, we just saw it come up, so we got 72 there. Very cool. It's not going to be the fastest thing in the world, but it is going to continuously produce iron and a small amount of gold for us, plus various other things. So the thing that I wanted to kind of talk about is arcane archives. Where did I put my tool? Where is the tool? That thing. Arcane archives. I was kind of enjoying this mod until I started to try to figure out how to auto route various things. And I was like, well, why can't I just, whitelist or blacklist in a specific chest using the functionality of the Scepter of Manipulation? So, Scepter of Manipulation, if we look at it, where is this thing? Gem Cutters table, back, tools, items. Scepter of Manipulation allows you to modify the properties of certain arcane archives blocks. The following basically is what it can do. It can be crafted as such, and it allows you to find various things. I think this is Revelation, right? What is this? Is this Revelation? Manipulation. Excuse me. Back up. It allows you to basically just work with the parts of the system. And what it allows you to do, which is kind of silly, I guess, is it allows you to label things. So now I can label that as a ingot or an ingot or a block or whatever. And if I do that, it's now gone. My brain says if I'm going to do that, that should also signify that as a whitelist only for that chest, allow just that thing in there. That's not how it works. So I had to play around and figure out that there is a very small little thing down here in the corner that says can insert any item or only the item that exists in this chest, which is fine. That's a great idea to be able to whitelist it specifically. But that means that has to stay in there all the time. Can you see where I'm going with this? I didn't want the ingot production combining, compacting process downstairs. I wanted it up here where I had access to that crafter when I needed it. So what I was going to do was I was going to whitelist 2 of these with the gold nuggets and the iron nuggets and then just hopper them into or put them into one of those guys so that they would then function. The thing with that is it will quit putting things in this chest if there's nothing in it. So if I label this with a golden nugget like that, and then I don't have any golden nuggets in it here, and there shouldn't be any left in here, and if I look quick carefully, we have 32 in a chest in here. Okay, well, we'll grab that out of there real quick. If there's no golden nuggets in the system, you would think it's going to put it in that chest. And it didn't. It put it in this one because there's an open spot there. Now, if I tell that thing, again, anything at all, even if I say it can only do this, and the one it's, like I said, it already contains, it doesn't contain any. It's going to put it back over there until I put 1 in here. There they are. Now, that's okay, like I said, until you do that. Now it's just an empty chest with a gold nugget on the face of it that has no whitelisting capabilities or blacklisting capabilities whatsoever. So that's something that I think needs to be added to the system quite badly. So we're going to do that. We're going to put this guy away really quickly. So yeah, that was the fun part. I sat there and scratched my head for about an hour one day or the other day trying to figure out why I couldn't get something to come all the way up, because that torch down there, as you guys can see, reaches all the way up here because we're at level 65 and I think that floor is 40 something. So it reaches just perfectly fine. So, that's just one of those. So we're going to be messing around. We're going to probably start looking at a better logistical system here fairly shortly now that we have this much iron and this much iron and this much iron. We can start getting into a couple of other things. So we are sitting around where I kind of want to be. So let's go ahead now that we've got all that discussed. We're probably going to start looking at building the actual ore processing facility shortly in the next episode, or two, I should say something like that, because I need to start processing a bunch of junk. So we're probably going to get to start looking at that. I need to do a bunch more work out here. I love it when it rains and it's snowing. Anyhow, let's see. Up here, I think we've got pretty much everything else pretty well taken care of at this point. Let's go back downstairs. Come on. Down the spot. Down the thing. Thank you. I can't wait for a better elevator. Ugh. Anyhow, I think what we're probably going to do in the meantime, between times, is I'm going to need to start working on this. So we need an ender pearl and a mirrored glass, which I have an ender pearl, and a piece of mirrored glass is what? Mirrored glass is just a piece of glass pane. Okay, do we have any of those? I can make a few of those. Let's make a couple of those. And some of that good stuff that I put where? Upstairs? Okay, so yeah, we're going to have to go deal with the snow. Can I sleep? No? I think the sun just came up, didn't it? All right, where did I put all that stuff? Oh, and yeah, well, thank you very much for the suggestion, comment, Mr. Serious Creeper, of going and finding a cinnabar vein. That's what that and that is. So I went and got a bunch of it, at least for right now. So let's go ahead and make us one of these. That's a magic mirror. Thank you. Measure on that a little bit, and you're going to give me what for a magic mirror? Complete. How bad are these? These are not terrible at all. For those of you that have no idea what a magic mirror does, or for that matter, the magical hand mirror or the Essentia mirrors, this is long-range transportation of items, to include what would be considered an equivalent almost to a ender chest or an ender pouch, and of the fact that I can take this guy with me out into the world as long as I link it with a mirror that is linked in the base or linked somewhere else in the area that has an inventory attached to it. I don't have to bring any chests, any kind of inventory anymore with me if I want to go playing around, because all I have to do is kick open my mirror and throw everything in it into the mirror, and it will put it into an inventory in here. So since we're not standing in the snow, let's read this. Basically what it means is it's a pair of magical mirrors that can act as doorways to the void world between the worlds, or anything shoved or piped through one mirror will pass through this strange realm and emerge from the other mirror, even across dimensional boundaries. The problem is you yourself cannot go through it. Now, we need to be able to link them, of course, but the basic fun part about this is I don't know if it works cross dimensionals. Cause flux or blah 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 blah. Picked up. You may relink them later on. I don't remember exactly whether I can say I can have a farm in the Nether and bring stuff back here through them, but they kind of almost act like ender chests, and they're going to be fun because I really hope IE works with them. So it's IE or it's going to be Project Red that we play with. So I wanted to kind of do that a little bit, and we may play with these in an upcoming episode as far as moving things around or just kind of having some fun. Because really what I want it for is I want this thing, which is a theory of artifice, which I'm going to have to do because, like I said, I can link this next to a hopper or something, or I don't know, something that will then drop whatever I want into one of these, or one of those that will automatically put everything into the system, and then I just take the mirror with me and leave all these other little things that I have going on, like these boxes and some of this other stuff and half a dozen other inventories at home, and be able to spend a lot more time out in the field playing around. So I think we got where I wanted to be. I hope you guys enjoyed that. It's been a little bit of fun kind of playing around with the system, and we're going to make it look a lot better. I actually think the sorting system idea that I have downstairs, I may end up moving some of that up here when we get the actual ore processing building built kind of thing, and we'll use the magic mirrors to bring the stuff up here, and that way we'll have two different ways of being able to move things around, basically, is what I'm looking for. So that way we can have all of that fun stuff, plus I can utilize that furnace that's down there to do all the work. So let's go down here and see what kind of a mess we've got. Kind of hoping that everything despawned. Look at that nice line of stuff. Cool. The other thing I keep getting, and it's funny, is the little bitty golem little things, the little, I don't know, whatever it is that they carry various gems and jewels and things around. They keep spawning and get caught up in here too, so we occasionally get some good stuff. But I know it's not the fastest mob farm I've ever built, but I think it's kind of one of the funnier ones that I've ever built. So cool. As we get bored and as we get sillier, we may end up putting a few more of these spawners into use in the basement down here. And if I need the creeper, I will bring the creeper up. The blaze, I'm debating on whether I need the blaze or not at this point due to the way this mod pack works. So we'll see. It's just kind of a fun little thing to goof around with. So, alrighty, guys. I think. The other thing I think is that thing doesn't drop the books, the coins, or any of the fancy stuff that I get out of the special mobs like the spikes do. So I think that's kind of weird, but whatever. Guys, I think we're going to call it for right now. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you in the next episode. Take it easy.